Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. You can hear a noise in the background. My doggies are eating and I think they should be allowed to do that. So I thought I would bring you my book, an updated book journal. So I created this on a whim and I've kept up to date with it. Can you believe it? I have been really enjoying this notebook. Really, I got this in an Illuma crate haul, a subscription box, and it's just so beautiful. It's about 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches, and it's just gorgeous, beautiful pages. So we'll start from the beginning because I may have shown you this, I may not have done. So I decorated the front page. I might add more bits in, might not. Then we have the, oh, I've just dropped something. We have the core pile acronym. Here we go, you can't see it, there you go. Let me just move this up a tad. So there's the core pile acronym, just to, that's how I score my books. This is just at the beginning, just so I remember. Then we've got, I don't know why I did it this way, and I'm kind of annoyed that I've done the key this way, but we've got pages and hours because I listen to and I read books. What I didn't include was if I listen and read on the same day, but never mind. You can see there was a few non-reading days, but most of the time I was reading, and I just want to fill this in. This is like a pixel, year in pixels. Then I added my TBR from what was on my shelf in January. I haven't actually added everything that I bought in in December. I haven't added anything since I started this. So this was in December, but I started it in January because I did. But I added everything that was on my shelf for the beginning of January. By the end of January, I had more books. So I will add those in. I should really cross off the ones that I've read. I think that would be quite important. So I will do. I'll cross off the ones that I've read. There's Babel, for example. I'll do that another time. What I have done is updated my bookshelves. I read 10 books in January. So these are the books that I read. I colour coded them: physical book, audio book and ebook. So I read a lot more ebooks because I am trying to read as many NetGalley things as possible. So yeah, that's why there's quite a few of them. Most of my ebooks are NetGalley. Sorry, I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. Then we have my favourites. Oh, I don't know why they're barking. They're having a moment. They've just eaten their dinner, so they might want to go out. So my favourite book for January, the one that I gave the only one I gave 5 stars to. If I have more than one 5-star in a month, I'm going to struggle. Is Heartstopper Volume 5. I read that. It was amazing. It was a 5-star. It was actually probably it was the only 5-star, and it was the strongest 5-star. It was an excellent volume. The next volume is out soon. But yeah, I just love it. And this will go into my head-to-head as well. So we've got that one. I just thought it'd be nice to see all the covers laid out on these pages when I get to it. Then we have my book goals bingo. So I don't know how to I think I'll have to go through and then cross them off at the end of the year. But they are: read 5 non-fiction books, read 80% of NetGalley arcs. I just don't know if I'm ever going to get to do that because I've got quite a lot. Read 20 LGBTQIA+ books. I do read a lot of them, so that's good. Read 12 translated books, 6 classics. I've done 2 already. Increase annual TBR by 25% or less. So I don't want to be up 25% of what I had originally in December. I might colour code it and do a different colour so that I can see which one's new each month. That's probably a good idea actually. So from the beginning, what the next ones are. Read 1 horror and don't DNF. This might be a book club one. We'll see what happens. Read a friend's favourite of all time, and then read 5 prize winner books. I'm currently reading Prophet Song, which was the Booker prize list prize winner, so I'm really happy about that. I'm kind of getting through one of them. These are all the NetGalley books that I currently have and when I'm reading them and what star rating I've given them so far. Every book that I've had from NetGalley has been a 4 star. It's not been too bad. And then my head-to-head, so Heartstopper Volume 5 is in January. You may notice that I've put months in a different order, just because I think it's, because I sort of mood read and seasonal read, they're going to be quite similar maybe. So, yeah, I wanted to just keep them as apart as possible. I thought that'd be quite fun. Anyway, so into January we go. So I printed this out from Canva. And I use it as my calendar. I've used the same one for February because I quite like the style of it. I had a kind of pink theme going on, as you can see. So I started the year off reading Babel. I read The Many Lives of Charlie in that day. What I do is I put when I start it and then when I finish it. I might not be reading the whole time, but it just shows you how long it takes. Babel took the whole month. Like, it was so long. And it almost put me in a slump because I didn't really read anything for a while. Like, it took me a while to get into it. But I'm glad that I was listening to books. I'm finding listening to books again quite cathartic while I'm working, so it's good. This was my TBR. I had 10 books on my TBR, and although I read 10 books, I didn't read my 10 TBR books. And I don't know whether that's just something that might continue to happen, but I don't mind, but it gives me a direction of travel. So I've crossed it off because I'm in the middle of reading it. So because it's on audiobook on Spotify, I only get so many hours. And so I've still got about 40% to listen to. And I won't get that till the 26th of February. So, yay. That's fine. I'll get it done by the end of that month, so at least I can finish it off. I listened to The Foundling by Stacey Halls. Heartstopper I read. Babel I read. The Lord of Stario I listened to. Accustomed to the Dark I read. So there was 4 books out of the 10 that I didn't read in my TBR. And I put this as a bonus just in case I wanted to finish it, because I am halfway through this book. I've done it again for next month. So the reading goals I had was to read 50 pages, listen to 30 minutes per day. And if you break it down, I probably did that. Read 1 classic book from the last 100 years. And I am in the middle of 1984 by George Orwell. Read over 50% female writers, and I did do that. So we've got Babel is 1, The World According to Patrick White is 2, The Lord of Stario is 3, Accustomed to the Dark is not 1, hold on, Quentin Tarantino is 4, The Foundling is 5, Heartstopper is 6. So therefore we are 60% of the books I read were female, so that's really good. And log all books on Goodreads and Storygraph, and I have done that, and I've also been logging it on Bookmori. So this is how I was rating things. Now you'll be wondering why there's a number 8 down here, but this is the 8th book that I finished, but it was something for book club. So book club, we had a bring your own book, which was at the end of the month, and I decided when I started Babel that I wanted to take it, I wanted to talk about it. So that's why the other reason why I wanted to finish it in the month, because I probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for book club. So I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed Babel, and I'll talk about that in a no, I can talk about it now. It was long, and I don't feel like it could have been 100 pages less and it still would have had the same impact. The themes were brilliant. The writing was brilliant. The characters were excellent. You felt a way about people, but I just feel like it could have been shorter and you still would have had the same impact. And I think that a good writer would have made it shorter. I'm not saying R.F. Kuang is not a good writer, but I just felt like if she just kept it succinct, I would have been less. I just felt like it was such a pain. And I want to have a page turner. And it was 250 pages before it started doing that. And I was like, that in itself, I could have DNF'd this, and I would have done had it not been that I was buddy reading it. My buddy read has had to put it on hold because they just cannot get through it. And I'm like, just stick with it. 250 pages, you're going to be so happy. But like, that's 250 pages. Some of my books are 250 pages. This was a graphic novel, The Many Lives of Charlie. It's by Europa, which is the publisher. And honestly, I'm not, or Europe Comics. I won't be reading another one of theirs. The only problem I have with their comics is they have a tendency to lean on the theological, and there's lots of themes of religion. and I feel like it's a bit propaganda-ish. So I feel a little, I don't enjoy it. I feel like it's trying to make me feel a certain way. I don't know why. I haven't gelled with them as much. I gave it a 3-star, based it on how it was drawn, how it was written, what the story was. And it was a good story. Like, it has stayed with me. But there was just so much religion aspect that I was just like, oh, and not that I'm against religion, but it felt a little bit forced. And I haven't enjoyed that in any of the books that I've read from them. Then I read a book that I picked up from NetGalley as well. These are both NetGalley. This is The World According to Patrick Wright. I loved this. It was humour. It was about a talking pig. Basically, a pig one day decided that he wanted to talk, and so he does. And it's a really interesting story about how he integrates with the family. It's not like a children's story, although you would feel like it is. It's actually adult. It's a novella. I mean, it's just a short story. It was probably about 200 pages. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was just the tonic after reading these, like in the middle of this. It got me back out of my slump. I thought it was really good. So I gave it 4 stars. Third book that I listened to was The Lord of Stariel, which is the beginning of a series. Stariel book 1, and I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. It was a bit of like a fantasy historical novel. So it's set in the Victorian times, but with a magical twist. I thought this was YA, you know. It wasn't, I felt almost middle grade. It was okay. Maybe it is middle grade. I didn't even look, to be fair. Maybe I should have a look. I thought it was okay. I thought there was no massive twist to it. There was some elements that I was just like, oh God, why? Where the main character just kept talking about how beautiful the men were that she was coming into contact with. And I was like, ugh, I didn't need that part. So the romanticy part could have, although to be fair, the romanticy part did actually, it meant something, but it was still annoying. Like the way she just sort of, she was meant to be this strong woman, and then she sort of melted every time these boys walked in. It was like, bleh, no. So yeah, that wasn't my favourite. And then I read another book from NetGalley, and I've actually heard Simon from, oh gosh, what's his YouTube channel? I just watched a video. Anyway, I heard somebody talk about this. He hasn't actually said anything. All I heard him talk about was just mention the book. I might have to go back and see if he's done a review of it. Pity by Andrew Macmillan. It's literary fiction. It's a poetic book. It is fantastic. I gave it 4 stars, but I am reconsidering I'm really thinking about it now. It was so beautifully written. It was so concise. It was so of its time. I think I gave it 4 stars because it was so short. I could have done with more. It's so funny because you can read a book and you can enjoy it, and then you can think, oh, it's not great, and then suddenly it just sort of regurgitates itself on you like, I don't know, like a bad breakfast or something. I really enjoyed it. I do think everybody should read it, especially if you're from the local area to me, because I'm from Chesterfield and it's based in Barnsley, so there is some similarities there. I spoke about it and I still really enjoy it. I think lots of people would. This was about an ex-mining town, and it's about generational family of men, and how the impact of the closing of the pits really was for them, and also working in them. It's not something I would have normally gravitated towards, but it was good. It was really good. So I loved that. Quentin Tarantino is a graphic biography that I picked up from NetGalley, because I do like to just choose some of the ones that are available sort of from, you can just get them at any time, just so that I can add some graphic novels to my reading rather than buying them. And it was okay. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Quentin Tarantino. The graphics weren't amazing. It was a style. It was very much a style. And there was a few different stories, and it was in the style of, it was Tarantino-esque in style, and it was okay. It was middle of the road. It was fine. And then I read a fantastic book from NetGalley called Accustomed to the Dark by Thomas D'Cona. This is, again, literary fiction. I thought it was going to be really frightening, but actually it wasn't. It was very, like I said, it was a little gem, and there was a beginning and an end, and I'd forgotten about the beginning, and the ends came as a bit of a surprise, so that I didn't understand why it was there, which is why it got 4 stars. The middle bit. So there was a chapter at the beginning and a chapter at the end, and they just didn't need to be there, because the main bulk of the story, which wasn't long, was fantastic. It was so good. It was about a young boy visiting families in his local area because he's selling some flower seeds to make some money because he wants to do art. And it's about how he is invited into their homes, and people seem to find that they can talk to him, and it was wonderful. And he had his own stuff going on at home, which you hear about, which is sad, very sad, deeply sad. And it was excellent, really good book. I just don't get the beginning and the end, and I seriously would take them out. If you took them out, it'd be 5 star. It didn't need that bit. I don't understand why it was there. Anyway, great book. Definitely would recommend. I don't know why Buddy's barking now. Then I listened to another historical fiction. I think I really enjoy listening to historical fiction books more than I do reading them. I'm sorry you can hear my dog barking in the background. Hold on. Anyway, he's going to carry on. I'm sorry. This was really good. This was The Foundling by Stacey Halls. She wrote The Familiars, and she also wrote Mrs. England, and I have both of them. So I hadn't realised as well that I'd bought these books by the same author, and I have them all, but I didn't realise they were the same. Terrible, terrible that. So I listened to this, and it was very, very good. I had a really good time. Essentially, this is about a young working girl who... not a working girl in that sense, but in the sort of Victorian era, she is, hold on. She has to give her child up, but she has to give her up because she wants to go back and get her. So she goes back 6 years later, and something occurs, which I don't want to tell you, but she goes back 6 years later, and it's from 2 different perspectives. Normally I don't enjoy that, but this was really good. And I loved it. It was very good. It was a 4 star. I did the core pile on this one, and it did come out as 4 star, about 4.5 really. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to reading some of her other books now, just to see if I enjoy them. I've got them in book form. I think I've got one digitally and one in book form, so that's great. And then we have my only 5 star, potentially, if I don't change pity to 5. No, this beats it. This is the 9th book that I read. I read it on the 31st of January. I allowed myself, I had to wait all month to read it, but I wouldn't read it until I'd finished Babel, and it was volume 5 of Heartstopper, which I thought was the last one. It isn't. Volume 6 is. And I just had a great time reading it. Every time I read a Heartstopper volume, I feel really happy. And then I kind of didn't want to get into too big a book, and I downloaded Stiff Upper Lip Jeeves from Audible ages ago. I think it was a free book, and it was about 5 hours, and I thought I can listen to that while I'm working in a day. So I listened to it. It was fun. I've listened to a few Jeeves radio. It's not a drama, is it? It's just a radio play. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It is what it is. It's very British. It's a poke at the British aristocracy. It's a parody. It's very funny to a certain degree. It's the relationship's very funny between Jeeves and Wooster. I liked it. I thought it was fun, but it was a 3 star. It was a solid 3 star. It was very average. So now we have what this has been like a review and a look at this. This is weird. Anyway, so then I did my stats. I printed these off from Storygraph. I want to keep putting them in here. So I did a bit of a monthly summary in here. You know, it was really good to see that I'd read a non-fiction, which was the biography. So apparently that's non-fiction. So that was fun because I didn't realise I'd read one. My average star rating is 3.75 at the moment. That's not bad. I'd like to keep it up there. Then I added, because I ran out of space, so I added NetGalley Tracker 2 and my TBR continued. And then I've got to add, this was all from the December, because I hadn't really counted my pages properly, but it's my book, so I don't mind that things are everywhere. It's my book. Added a new tab for February and created this page. So I've got a longer TBR this month than last month, but I think I'll get through it. I've decorated it with some new things. Again, I did this overview cutout page, and I have my book club February pick, which is Northanger Abbey. So yeah, I'm really excited about getting into February, and I'm enjoying setting this up and having fun with this. There's so many pages. I do think that I should be able to get through the whole 12 months in this book. I'm just having a great time. This has been so much fun. So this has been, I guess, an overview of my book, and also a wrap-up. It's been a reading wrap-up, which I haven't had to show my face in. Oh, I'm sorry. So thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to add anything or comment, please comment down below. If you'd like to subscribe, please do. It would really make my day. I hope that you've enjoyed your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.